Let's welcome to the stage the writer, director, and producer of Nuremberg. He was a WGA nominee for the movie Zodiac. He's written the last two Screen movies, and he directed the Dan Rather 60-minute newsroom feature drama Truth, starring Robert Redford and Cate Blanchett. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Vanderbilt. He's an Oscar, BAFTA, Golden Globe, and SAG Best Actor winner for his role as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, and Emmy Award Best Actor Drama winner for Mr. Robot. Ladies and gentlemen, Rami Malek.
Die anderen nicht haben.
Sehen Sie trist. Dieser Mann ist anders.
You see, this man is different.
Wir werden Freunde sein. Ich bin davon
We're gonna be good friends, I'm sure of it.
I look forward to that.
Ich freue mich.
Good day.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Inflated sense of self. Charming. Speaks English.
What? What?
Yeah, the way he looked at me when I called him fat. Yeah, he understood me. He's been playing you.
No, why would he pretend?
Translation gives him more time to consider his answers. He thinks that gives him an advantage.
Wait, hold on. You're saying I spent the last 3 months mumbling to myself while he understood every word?
Pretty much.
No. Are you gonna tell him that you know?
Oh, no. No, he's gonna tell me when he's ready.
When's that?
When he determines I'm not a threat. I want to meet the rest of them. Who's next?
So, James, you've written a lot of horror films.
Yes.
Very good ones.
Thank you.
What brought you to Nuremberg? I understand the author, Jack L. High, started faxing you pages from while he was writing his own book.
Yeah, no, he actually sent me the book proposal first, too, which was about 5 or 6 pages long, and it was the story of Kelly and Goering, and it was the quickest I said yes to anything in my life. I just found that relationship so compelling, and it was a story I thought I knew a lot about in terms of the Nuremberg trials, but it turned out I knew very little about.
Why did it take so long to make? Well,
Sure.
First thing, I know that you went beyond the book in terms of deep diving into the other characters.
I did. I love doing research. It's sort of the place where I feel really comfortable and I get my confidence as a filmmaker. And so the first thing I did once I optioned, because I used my own money to option Jack's book, was, dove into all of the research of the period of the time, which is really well documented. And one of the first things I learned about was the story of Robert Jackson, who was the Supreme Court Justice Michael Shannon plays in the film, and how hard he worked to make the trials happen. I always sort of thought they were a foregone conclusion. Obviously we would put the Nazis on trial, but there was an enormous amount of resistance to it. The U.S. Army didn't want to do it. A lot of other people didn't want to do it. And Jackson was the one who convinced them to do it, and then flew to Nuremberg, took a leave of absence from the Supreme Court, and became the chief U.S. prosecutor. And that wasn't in Jack's book. And so I had a moment where I was like, at first I thought my movie was over here, just with Kelly and Goering in the cell, but it's also over here in the courtroom with Jackson.
But something that audiences are asking, is it all true? For example, in regards to Leo's character.
Yes, Leo's character, it's so funny. Someone was like, I remember it was like, oh, and that character you made up, Leo Woodall's character, I was like, we didn't make him up. Howie Triest was an amazing, wonderful guy. I didn't tell you this, I got an email from a friend of mine who took a friend of his to see it, who knew Howie. And was like, it's loved the I don't want to get high on our own supply, but loved Leo's performance in it so much. And he said, I only wish my friend lived long enough to see it. So it was just, so that character is absolutely true. And it sort of had to include him as well, because the truth is almost stranger than fiction. It's such an incredible story.
Rami, tell us about getting into Douglas's head, because this is a very sympathetic character. However, off-screen, he has a tragic ending. And that's not a spoiler. He has a tragic ending, and I'm just wondering how you process that.
Well, I just threw myself into the nature of what this guy was going through. He was an army psychiatrist. He was thrust into this moment in history where no one could predict what was going to happen at that time. And he was tasked with discovering whether these Nazis were compos mentis and if they were fit for trial, and he just had to do his job. And when you're going against one of the most charming, charismatic people you could come across in Hermann Goering, who happened to be the second in command to Adolf Hitler, played by so elegantly and masterfully by Russell Crowe, you have to come in there with a sense of charm and a sense of being as engaging and smart, and I think being able to play that psychological chess match well enough to be in the room, pulling that off with all, not just him, but 21 other Nazis as well. So there was a sense that I had to bring every level of humanity into that room, whether it was wit, charm, being able to be disarming, being able to be incredibly intelligent, and being as powerful and having as much steeliness as I could at moments, going toe-to-toe in that room with Russell.
Tell us about casting Russell for Herman, because that's a hard part. That's a very challenging part to play.
Yeah, and it's and I think he does it brilliantly. It's a scary part to play too. I mean, one of the things that he sort of said is the first time he read it, it scared him, and that's what made him interested in it. But I always Herman Goering historically is incredibly funny, charming. Somebody once described him as the best dinner party guest you could ever have at your house, which is not what I like to think of when I think of Nazis. So. I knew I really wanted somebody who had that sort of magnetism and also had that, obviously a great actor, but also had that relationship with an audience and that screen baggage of we've rooted for him for 25 years, we've seen him be the hero, we've cared about him, and I really loved the idea of weaponizing that a little bit in terms of the relationship. And then, the idea of who's going to sit across from him and actually be able to go toe-to-toe with him. When you have someone this incredibly talented who chased the part, raised his hand for the part, an incoming call from Academy Award winner Rami Malek, who wants to be in your movie, is pretty great day.
Can you talk about? I understand he would shoot, like, for example, the courtroom scene for like 25 minutes straight. Can you talk about that intensity? Just setting up that, basically how he is setting up the dramatic stage there. Is that too much pressure on an actor? Is that, oh wow, this is awesome, this is a lot of fun?
Oh, no, it's what's odd is the juxtaposition of the word, fun and Nuremberg at the same time.
Sorry.
But as you guys saw in that clip, there are moments where you're laughing, and that's what James has done so brilliantly in the script. That's what drew me to it. I was like, one, I love stories that take us back into history and allow us to retell a story that we think we know. We didn't. I promise you, when you see this, if you haven't, there are so many surprises and twists, and just a part of history that is going to, it really will shock you. But to do it in a way where you get to the courtroom and you're able to do these long takes that would usually be broken up into pieces over a course of a number of days, the ability to do them as if it was a stage play, I think, was an extraordinary feat that, one, you were able to pull off, and that we were salivating as we were watching or taking part in. And I know Michael and Russell just enjoyed every second of that, to be able to go through these takes. And we were shooting in Hungary, and at the end of each take, there was a standing ovation, I remember, for the first, but they kept applauding because there's so many links in that part of the world to what happened, very, very close links. And so you could feel that. You could feel the tension in that courtroom scene. It was palpable every day, and you hold that with you. And yeah, there's something uniquely special about that. Another thing that James did was when we were in the cells, we didn't pull the walls to bring in a camera. So it was this suffocating feeling of having, Russell right up there in your face with camera operators and sound, boom mics, everybody coming. But it was a very claustrophobic environment. And so there was always a certain amount of tension that was created. Yeah.
What are you working on next?
As a producer of all, and a writer of other horror films, we have Scream 7 coming out in February and Ready or Not 2 coming out in April. So very, very excited about those. And I'm just starting to write my next thing to direct for Paramount, which I've been told under pain of death I'm not allowed to talk about. But I'm very excited about it.
Sounds fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rami, I was at the New York Comic-Con Mr. Robot reunion. Yeah. It sounds like there's not going to be any more Mr. Robot.
No.
Am I right?
No.
Do you think is there a possibility, even a spin-off?
No. Sam and I just talked about working together again, but that's it. No, there's no more Mr. Robot. It lives in its own time. This is another director.
I love Mr. Robot.
Well, and I love our relationship. It's been such a pleasure working with James. It's a gift when you have a writer who's a director who has the vision that you never have to really question anything because, there's just no confusion as to where things are coming from or disseminating. And you did it so elegantly and eloquently with all of us. I mean, when you sit there and watch what a director's tasked with, especially when you want to honor this moment, it was just handled so perfectly by you day in and day out. And so this is me saying, I'd like to work with you again.
Nothing would make me happier. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Vanderbilt, Rami Malek.
We still have 3 minutes.
Sodi.
We still have 3 minutes. This is how I would be like. There's still film in the can.
Okay,
Ramin, you want one more?
Okay, then you're the hottest take.
You want one more?
Well, everybody always says when I tell actors if you need another take, or you ask for another take, you better do something different. That's No. We're good.
We're good.
Sony Pictures Classics, Nuremberg.
Thank you all.
Thank you.